Alright, yeah, I'm recording outside. It's probably going to be the last day. Well, I keep saying that, but it's so bloody warm here. It's ridiculous. I thought maybe I'd show you the three carved pumpkins. Of course, they're not jack-o'-lanterns yet. I still haven't put a lit candle in them, and I'm all into this thing about once they turn into a jack-o'-lantern, they become like they've got a spirit in them, and so on and so forth. Hopefully I'm not talking too low, but I'm also outside, don't want to bother neighbors. I wanted to show you a few books that I've been picking up, and also the price differences. My God, it's amazing. So, picked this up on Amazon a little while ago, just due to the fact, obviously, that we know it's coming. It's getting close to the end of 1916, and pretty soon I was shocked at how quick it's going to start happening. I didn't realize that, but I love these little, very short introduction books. There's a bazillion of them. Really enjoy them. So got that one. Haven't only looked at it a little bit. This book I picked up last week at the thrift store, and yet again the price differences. I think I paid like about $7 or something for that. Yeah, and you're still like, it's not that bad. Yeah, you're right. This one I also picked up. Russia Leaves the War: Soviet-American Relations, 1917 to 1920. Looks good. Yet again, $7 at the thrift store. Like, you're going to see the price difference when I show you what I got yesterday at the Salvation Army thrift store. So this book is a piece of fiction. James Hockenberry, I think I mentioned him before a few weeks ago. He did a talk for the World War I Historical Association on American women in the Great War, and he mentioned that he had written some books, and I was like, okay, this is book one of a series or whatever, and it seems pretty neat. So I was like, okay, good. I mean, obviously, it was surprising. I was hanging out with Zoe Dufour yesterday. I'm her dad, and she was like, oh, I wasn't sure that you would be into Great War fiction. I was like, oh, for sure. This I picked up through an Amazon seller. It just arrived today, actually, in the post. The Oxford Illustrated History of the First World War by Hugh Strachan. He's all over the flippin' place. But so is Holger Afflerbach. He's the author right now of the book I'm reading, On a Knife Edge. That was pretty neat to see. It's a bunch of historians and whatnot doing their take on the Great War, the origins, and so on and so forth. So that's going to be, yeah, I was looking forward to that for sure. What else did we go by before I go into the major books? We also went off to the hobby store near me, the Hobby House, and picked up the World War I male tank. I've got the female one as well, and yeah, I wanted to get it. They didn't have any SPADs, sadly, but I did grab this one here, the SEFA 5A, sorry, that I don't have. And I was asking Zoe Dufour, I'm like, which plane do you like? And she's like, well, I kind of like this one. I was like, okay, good, because the other ones that she was kind of like, I kind of like those as well. Luckily for me, there's someone right on my side of my door here. It'll be interesting to see what they're up to. This is what you get for being outside, right? Well, luckily for me, she didn't. Oh, it's an Amazon person. Luckily for me, she didn't pick any of the planes that I already had. I was like, oh, later on, I was like, oh gosh, I'm glad I didn't decide the one like the Albatross D1, because I forgot about it. This is interesting as well that she's going to mention this. So we went, like I said, so the rest of the books I ended up getting for $20. Wait until you see them. So the first one here is, I wasn't sure if I had it, To End All Wars. I do have it. And Zoe later was like, well, you should have a list. And I was like, well, irony that you mentioned that, because Harold Bosma and I are doing that exact bit, assembling what we're going to call the Mark Ruggiero Great War bibliography. So it's already in the works. This one looks freaking amazing. The World Crisis, 1911 to 1918 by Winston S. Churchill. It's the 4 of the 5 volumes. I just read the introduction. By Martin Gilbert, for goodness sakes. But look at this. Remember, I got all these books at the Salvation thrift store. The next one's for $20. This is nuts. And this one, I was like, what in the world? And they have a tiny books section. It was like, wow. So there's Imperial Germany in the Great War, 1914-1918. This looks amazing. I was like, oh my gosh. I just kept saying to Zoe Dufour, look at this, look at this. This is where she was mentioning, going, oh, I didn't know that you'd be interested in fiction, Great War fiction. It's book one of the, I wasn't sure, and I was like, let's take a look and find out. And sure enough, it says, follows the fates of 5 interrelated families, American, German, Russian, English, and Welsh, as they move through the world-shaking dramas of the First World War, the Russian Revolution, and the struggle for women's suffrage. I was like, okay, that sounds really interesting. It's a monster of a book. Oh my gosh. This one was another one I wasn't sure that I had, which I do. The War That Ended Peace, Margaret Macmillan. Due to the fact I've got the book liner as well, and this one didn't come with it, so I wasn't sure. I was like, this looks really nice, a nice looking book. But anyways, another book to give away to people. That's just the way, that's the way it goes. It's nice. And then this, here's the last one here. Admiral of the Fleet, the life of John Fisher. I was like, well, of course I'm going to snag that as well, find out a little bit more about everything that's going on. That's about it, really. Hope you guys are having fun. I'm just going to put this away and enjoy the weather as much as I can, and then I'm going to continue reading and doing my notes, and then wait for the trick-or-treaters to show up. All right, see you later.